All right, my friends, welcome back. So here we are in this video, we're going to create our first web page. Now, there's many topics that we haven't even seen yet, but I just wanted you to get a basic web application under your belts first, okay? So let's just make a quick start. And don't worry about anything if you don't necessarily get what we're doing, because we're going to cover it in the future, believe me, all right? So first up, I'm going to create a folder on the desktop. I'm going to name it Test. So let's open Visual Studio Code again. Click on the file icon at the top left of the menu. Click on the Open Folder button here. All right, great. So here, I can actually access all the files on my computer. The file that I want to open is located on the desktop. All right, great. So when I select the folder named Test and click Open, the folder is going to open in the VS Code screen. Alternatively, you could do this by double-clicking. But yeah, let's just click on the Open button. Great. So you probably already understood that I briefly referred to Visual Studio Code as VS Code. But just had to throw that out there for those of you who are sleeping. Now, let's continue. First up, we're going to close the welcome page. So now you see Test on the left side of the screen. Good. If you also see the word Test, you're on the right track. Now, next to the word Test, there are 4 icons. First one will allow us to create a new file inside the test folder. The second one allows us to create a new folder. And the last 2 icons, well, they're not really used that much. The last one's used to close all the open files and folders. The other one's just used to refresh the page. All right. So we'll mostly use the first 2 icons. Now, to create a web page, we definitely need an HTML file. So why don't we click on the first icon to create a file named index.html. The extension of a web page must be HTML, by the way. So this HTML extension is kind of like the .pdf used in text documents or the .png used in images. You know what we're talking about. But you see, index is the actual name of our actual file. So we can create HTML files with different names here, of course. So in short, the name index isn't mandatory, but it really is a common standard and provides easier accessibility for users. Now, there are some settings that we need to make for our pages to be displayed in browsers, and we can write these one by one, but VS Code allows us to do this really quickly. And we do this with the exclamation mark, aka the bang sign in certain coding circles. But do you see what happened? We have it. A code block is now ready. And also, the page is automatically saved. So there's no need to save the page again by pressing Command and S together. If the page wasn't saved, there would be a white dot on the left side of the index.html text at the top. Awesome. So you see the advantage. Well, perhaps you're starting to see the advantage of using an IDE. We can do many of these things really quickly. So let's just talk about what each code here does. So here with bang doc type HTML, this specifies the document type of the HTML document. And it informs the browser which HTML version the document is using. So in this example, it indicates that the document's using HTML5. So this HTML lang equals EN indicates the beginning of the HTML document. The lang attribute specifies a language of the document. Here, EN, English, is specified. And of course, the language can be changed. We won't do that now. Let's check out the head. So the section of the HTML document that contains meta information, additional information like titles, style sheets, etc. It's actually the part that works in the background. It's not a visible part of the web page. Meta char set equals UTF-8. And this defines a character set used in the document. Here, UTF-8 is the character set that gets used, which is generally preferred for providing multilingual support. Now check this out. Between right angle brackets, meta name equals, double quotes, viewport double quotes, content equals, double quotes, width equals device dash width, comma, initial dash scale equals 1.0, double quotes, right angle bracket, colon. So this, my friends, is a meta tag, and it gets used to control how the page is displayed on mobile devices. Width equals device dash width just sets the width of the page to follow the screen width of the device. Initial dash scale equals 1.0 specifies the initial scale of the page. And then check this out. In between angle brackets, title, document, left angle bracket, / title, right angle bracket, colon, specifies the title of the web page. So this title is shown on the browser tab. Now let's just change this to first page. Body between angle brackets, colon. The section of the HTML document that contains the visible part. All content visible to the user will be between these tags. And this is where we're going to add text and images and any links that we want to appear on the screen. And we'll do all of our operations within the body. The structure that we introduced here is actually the standard structure. So instead of manually recreating it every time, we'll actually prefer to create it with a shortcut. Now, let's just pause for a second and discuss what this term tag means in HTML. Do you know? It's actually a sign used to define or mark a specific element or content in an HTML document. Now, you've probably noticed that tags are enclosed in the opening and closing brackets, or left angle bracket, right angle bracket, and generally indicate the beginning and end of an element. So we're going to see detailed explanation of all this in the upcoming videos. Don't even worry about it. We're just moving through this quickly just to set you up. Let's create an H1 tag for the title and press enter. And now let's write my first page inside it. Below that, let's create a P tag used for paragraph text. And now let's write hello world right here. So what do you think this page is going to look like? Let's check it out. Now, there are different ways to run this in the browser, but I want to first show you opening it from the application folder. So we'll go to the test folder, and there you can see the index.html files in here. Now, what happens if you double-click on it? And there you have your first web page, my friends. Isn't that cool? So in the URL section, you will see the file path on your computer. You can also see where the first page written in the title tag is located. All right. So I want to show you yet another commonly used method to run our applications and browsers on the computer. So let's go back to the code screen and go into the extension folder, type live server here. So the live server extension will allow us to open HTML pages in the browser, well, a lot more easily. So with this extension, any changes made to the open pages will be immediately reflected on the screen. All right, so now click on the install button. Well, how are we going to open up a page with this? Well, I got a couple of simple methods. Both are real easy. The first one is to click on the Go Live button at the bottom of the screen. The second would be to right-click on the page that you want to open and click on the Open with Live Server in that open section. So yeah, you can see both are real easy. I want to click on the Go Live text. So here you see a message saying that the application page is opened on port 5500. All right. Now let's bring the opened page here. And now you can see the page is created in the same way. Now I wonder if you notice something here. Look at this. There is no longer a computer file path in the URL address. Instead, a page with a local IP address has been opened. So what do we make of this? 127.0.0.1:5500/index.html indicates that the user wants to access a file named index.html hosted on their own computer, localhost, by accessing a web server running on port 5500. So this, my friends, is the typical addressing method to access a web page running on a local server during development or on a local server. Okay, so that's great, right? Let's go back to the code screen now. So how do we stop the page from running? Well, you just need to click on where it says port 5500. There you go, my friends. And that's it. You have now created your very first HTML page, and you've run it in the browser. And I really think that's enough for now. So why don't we pick it up in the next section, and we're going to continue with our basics of HTML. All right, see you next time.